Good morning. It is still August the 4th. And I wanted to do a review of J&J Treewackers. Now, what they priced me for the 4 trees was $29.50, $2,950. That's not a bad price. That is the lowest price that we've gotten. We've gotten a price as high as $6,000 to cut these trees down and mulch them and leave the mulch, but haul away the large pieces of wood. So they were the lowest price that I got, and I think they were the lowest because they don't spend a lot of money on advertising, so they're able to save you money because they advertise by word of mouth because people are happy with the work that they do. I heard about them from my neighbor that lives on the end of the street. We always stop by there when we go for a walk. Her name is Gloria, and so Gloria told us about J&J Treewackers. She told us about J&J Treewackers, but she called them J&J Treewackers. But she gave me their phone number, and I was actually able to get in touch with them. And the first time I got in touch with them this year, last year they immediately came out, gave me a price quote, and we're ready to do the work. We weren't ready to pay for the work because we didn't have the money to spare, because we had other things that were more pressing to do, like the water underneath the house, the pipe bust underneath the house, and then we had to do some new underlayment, new insulation, new piping all the way underneath, new plumbing underneath the house. So everything under there is new. Then we had to fix the foundation where there was some shifting. So yeah, that was more important at the time than getting the trees taken down. This year we needed to get the trees taken down because they were dropping some pretty large limbs. They've been dropping some pretty large limbs all along. We had one drop on the house before we, right after we moved in about 5 years ago. So back to J&J Treewackers. Back to J&J Treewackers. Although J&J Treewackers would be a really cool name. Treewackers is actually one of the code names that, what a lot of the arborists call themselves, are treewackers, because a lot of them just walk up the tree and cut them down. And you wouldn't want to do that with these because they're too rotten. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. Not the correct name though. It's J&J Treewackers. Put it on the screen now. So if you look at the yard, you'll see this tree right here was overhanging our building, our house, our brand new HVAC system, Todd's kayak, our patio furniture that we don't have a patio for yet, all of these buildings of the neighbors, all over his fence right here. It even extended to this building, and then this one overhung this building, the guy's fence. Our skylight, which did not get broken, our skylight and our garden shed, it was overhanging our garden and the bird bath. Sorry about the spin. This one right here was overhanging the neighbor's fence line, which is brand new. It did not have any that reached his shed, but it actually come up over met in the middle. So these two trees were meeting across the middle of the yard. So there's nowhere you could walk that you were actually completely out from underneath the trees. So what damage was done? There are divots in the ground, quite a few of them, that were caused by the trees when the trees fell. Let me see if I can find some of them. Right here is one. I don't know if you can see the depth of that, but it is that deep. It's about 3 inches deep. There's one right there. There's one right there. There's some all over the yard where the large chunks of the tree fell. And I'll throw in some video right here. There's only one left on that tree. And here goes the last tree. So there were large chunks of tree that got dropped, and the weight of the tree as it fell did dent put holes in the land, in the ground, holes. It put potholes in the yard. So when they fall, they can control where they fall based on how they cut the tree and the ropes that they use to pull it one way or the other. The only thing that got damaged was this right here. I wouldn't really call damage, but it knocked this bird bath over, and it pulled the pins out, all of the pins out, so I still need to put those back in. It's just a plastic bird bath. I wasn't really worried about that. It cost $20 bucks. It's not that expensive. But I knew that they had done something because the bird bath was empty, and the one of my this plant right here was underneath it. So when they set it back up, it was underneath it. And it shifted those around a little bit. That's going to be a pain in the butt to fix. But it's sweat equity. It's not really. It's not an expense. So that happened. And with the divots in the ground, you're going to have to expect that, because those trees were huge, and anything that falls, you're going to have the velocity of the fall that's going to create the indentions in the ground. It's just, expect it, because it's going to happen. And there's nothing you can do about it. The one thing that happened that kind of pissed Todd off, because these beds are his baby, and he created them, he designed them, he made them. So he was quite upset when he saw damage to one. Also, let's see, this tomato got broken off. Not real worried about that. That wasn't a big deal. He just topped my tomato. No, I'm just kidding. So this right here, it is, I don't know if you can tell, it is crumbled down on itself. Now, I thought he could possibly just pull that out, but that's a thick gauge galva loom. You can't bend that with pliers. So you can see the impact right here where it impacted. Yeah, you can't just pull that out with pliers, because I thought that would be, you know. But no, he said the only way to fix that would be to take it off, take it back to the shop and flatten it out and then re-bend it, and it's still going to have witness scars. I contacted Garth at J&J Treewackers, who's the person that I've been in contact with the whole time to schedule this and whatnot. He said, give me the price of the panel and I'll reimburse you for that. So, and they did. Within a couple of days, he was over here, just a couple of days ago actually. But even if they hadn't, I would still recommend their service, because as you saw, all of the stuff that they had to avoid damaging, and you know, accidents happen. You can't always control where one is going to fall and bounce. But overall, they did a wonderful job. When I contacted Garth at the beginning of the year, I was like, you know, we got the money, we're ready to roll, just get in touch with me, and he forgot. So a couple months roll by and I'm like, well, I'm looking for other places and I'm getting these astronomical, I mean, ridiculous prices. Come on. It is not, no, it's not $7,000 job to cut these down. That's ridiculous. I understand you're at a risk because of all the buildings that are overhung, but that's why you have insurance, right? But he forgot. So I ended up calling them back, and they scheduled it that day on the phone, honored the quote that they gave me over a year ago. And so they went ahead and scheduled it. And so if you see how these guys work, then you will understand how he forgot it, because they are hard workers on that crew. And they worked hard. And there was very little downtime. The only downtime they had was lunch and a couple breaks. I was shooting through the window because they were, one thing with cutting down trees, we used to cut down trees when I was little because we had firewood, a wood stove for heat in the house and for cooking in the winter. And so I'm familiar with cutting down trees. You don't want to have someone out wandering around videoing you while you're cutting down trees, because you have to know where everybody is, and you have to be able to communicate with everybody and know what to expect, where they're going to be, especially when you're having those large trees, because if one of those limbs fell on somebody, it could kill them. I mean, you've seen a 3-inch dent in the ground. So yeah, you don't want one of those falling on you. So I did not come out here to video them. I did it through the window, and so you'll see my dirty windows, and I'm okay with that. There are higher priorities right now. Overall, not even just overall, they did a wonderful job. They were hardworking, and they got the job done in a day and a half, and those were some pretty large trees. There were 3 truckloads of the tree, the large tree chunks, the large chunks of tree. There were 3 dump trucks of that, and the wood mulch, the mulch right there is at least 2 truck beds full. It's what it would be. And then we'll have some more when the stumps are cut down. So would I recommend them to other people? Abso-freaking-lutely. I would absolutely recommend them to anybody who needs to have their trees cut down in the Roanoke area, because their price is affordable. The people are pleasant and respectful that work for the company. They honor their word, and they have work ethic. And so yeah, I would absolutely recommend them to somebody else. Now the true question is, if somebody did a really good job, would you hire them again? The answer is absolutely yes. Even if they hadn't reimbursed us for the damage to that box, planter box, I would still recommend them, and I would still recommend their service, and I would still hire them again if I needed some more trees cut down, which we may in the future. But I would absolutely hire them again because of their work ethic and, you know, the things I mentioned, their work ethic, their honoring their word, you know, all of that is very important when you're talking about your property, your neighbor's property, and not damage it. And I want to show you something that if somebody is not careful about how they cut down trees, what can happen. Now these guys back here had their, I think 7 trees cut down. 7 cut down last year. And let's see. Can you see how crooked that fence is? How mangled it is? Let's see if I can zoom in. Yeah, that was done by the tree service. So that was done by the tree service that did their, it's a spider web, that did their trees. They mangled that. They, that fence line. Let's see if I can see a better view over here. There's another divot. You can kind of see how deep that one is. That one's about 3 inches also. And right there. Okay, if you can see it along the back here, they damaged that fence line. I showed you this fence line in line and how mangled it is. And it wasn't like that. It was actually straight when before they came to cut the trees down. It was actually straight, even including where that tree is right there. And they also dropped a lot of limbs on this side of the fence. J&J Treewackers did not drop any limbs on the other side of the fence, on this side or on that side. So none of the debris landed on our neighbor's ground. Hello, Coco. Hello. What you doing, little boy? Hi. Hello. So we get some dog lovin's. We get some doggy lovin's. Hello. Did you have to come out to do your business this morning? Did you hear me out here talking? Did you hear me out here talking? Yeah. Ian's a cute little boy. Ian's a cute little boy. Yeah. Kisses? Thank you. I don't think Coco is really his name, but it's like Mocha or Coco or something like that. So I always end up calling him Coco. And the other one is Angel. The little tiny white one is Angel. Hi there. She's my namesake, huh? Look at you begging. Aw, aren't you cute? Yeah, you didn't bark at me this morning. Hello. Okay, I gotta go. So, I believe I asked, would we hire them again? Yes, absolutely, because they were very careful. And you know, accidents happen. You can't control for every contingency. So yes, we would absolutely hire them again. Absolutely. No doubt about it. And yes, we do absolutely recommend them to our friends and our family, strangers, everybody. We are very pleased with the work that they did. Absolutely very pleased with the work that they did. So if you need your trees trimmed, cut down, removed, give them a call. J&J Treewackers. They are the best in Roanoke. So Yahuah bless you and keep you and give you shalom. Until next time, God bless. even if they had not made it right and paid for the replacement of that panel for our garden bed, we would still recommend their services. So would I recommend them to our neighbors, our family, and to strangers? Abso-freaking-lutely. Yes, because they did a wonderful job. They worked with ethics. They're hardworking men. They were very respectful, and they were true to the word. And they honored they honored the quote that they gave me over a year ago. So, which is only good for a year, but they honored it. And then the next question would be, would we hire them to do work again? Absolutely. Right here, we don't really. I mean, there's a couple small little trees back here that I want taken down. I can probably do that myself. But when we move, we may need to have some trees taken down, and I would absolutely give them the call. They would be the first and probably the only call I would make, unless they would be my first call and the only one, unless they weren't able to do it. So, but yeah, if you're in the Roanoke area and you need some trees taken out, you need some limbs trimmed, whatever your need is with cutting trees down, give J&J Treewackers a call, because they are worth they're worth it. They don't advertise heavily like a lot of the other places do. They advertise in one publication, and that's it. And most of their business is by word of mouth. Like I said, I heard from my neighbor. She told me that that they gave her a wonderful price and that they did a really good job. And they another thing is they do clean up after themselves. Now, we're going to have these tree stumps ground down, so it really isn't that important to us about cleaning up. So the only place that was missed was around this big tree back here, but I mean, I'm not worried about that, because, like I said, we're getting ready to have these tree stumps ground down anyway. So they did clean up after themselves very well. They used rakes and a tarp and a snow leaf blower. So they used all of those things to clean up after themselves, and they did a really good job. I have no complaints. Like I said, I'm not real worried about being completely clean, because we're going to have these, and then we're going to have to do some leveling. So, but yes, I absolutely recommend J&J Treewackers. If you need some tree work done, give them a call. So Yahuah bless you and keep you and give you shalom. Until next time, Yah bless.